Hey everybody, welcome into JacksonSun.com and this week's edition of the Scores Table as we discuss one final week of high school basketball for this season. I am Jackson Sun sports editor Brandon Shields. He is our local high school sports writer Michael Odom, and he's about to head over here in a few hours, headed over to Murfreesboro. Unfortunately, he's only got one team to cover. We had three local teams, four teams in rural West Tennessee that made it to the sectional round last week, and once everybody finally played, only one team won to make it through, and that was, in fact, the Southside Hawks, and they came close to not making it.
You know, first time in this millennium that only one West Tennessee team has made the trip across the river to fight for a state tournament. That's a rarity over here. I mean, we've had 6 teams in 2004 and 2005 make it. So for West Tennessee to only be represented by one team, I guess that's a kind of a shift in power recently, but
also, I mean, it also a reflection the TSSAA, the way the districts line up and regions and everything. I mean, that's kind of changed as well in the last decade too.
Well, that and the fact more Memphis teams are in single A and double A are getting better and more competitive, and you've got when you put Mitchell and who's been in the state championship.
In double A.
Right, the past couple of years. And here they are in single A. They're going to be a tough team to beat, although they do have the number one team in the state in Good Pasture on Wednesday night at 6. That should be a pretty good game. Mitchell, nobody really talked about Mitchell, so for them to get to play the number one team in the state, that could be something special on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, kind of getting back to our local teams now, or our local team, speaking of which, it's 2014. Do you think there will be many more chances the rest of the millennium for only one team to make it?
Yeah, I think we got a few more chances this millennium.
All right.
I just hope I'm around to see some of them.
But, I covered Southside sectional game while you and Craig were in Murfreesboro last week with the girls' teams, and Southside came out playing better than Covington did in that sectional, but Covington gradually worked its way back into it, went to the press in the second half. Southside didn't adjust well to it, and like I put in the story, if high school basketball had been 33 minutes instead of 32, we may be talking about Covington being at state right now instead of Southside.
Going in, we knew Covington was a pressing team.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a very good coach. This coach has led Austin East to many state tournaments. Very good catch by by Covington to bring him over. His last name is Mitchell. So it was kind of a good thing for Covington, and it's really boosted the program. And I think it's just taken time for the players to really adjust to his style. But Southside comes away the victor, and they're making a second straight state tournament appearance.
All right, and most of the core is back. Obviously, our player of the year last year, AJ Merriweather, he's not back this year for the state tournament run. But we got Jalen Barford back. Well, I say we. They have Jalen Barford back. I'm not a Southside fan, y'all. They have Jalen Barford back. They got Malik Hicks, Chris McNeil, a few other role players, the Smith brothers. Rashard Johnson played a key role the other night.
Devontae Vincent's back from injury. I think that's very key for them to have 2 post players. So if Rashard's not having the best game, they can bring in Devontae Vincent, and him coming back from surgery is big for them.
Talking to Damon, I mean, the other night I talked to him, talked to some of the players, and of course they were all fired up to get over there and try to make another run, which they lost in the championship last year at CPA. They drew them in the semifinals if they both win on Thursday. They would play each other on Friday in the semifinals, but just talking to him since then, I mean, how ready does this team seem like it is for the tournament?
Coach Fuller says he likes to draw. They're ready to play. They've got a 6 o'clock game on Thursday against Manassas. If they win, they'll play 6 o'clock on Friday. That means there's not a big difference. There's not that trying to get up at 10 a.m. and have your team ready. You're playing at normal game time, so all the little intangibles are gone. It's just getting out there and playing basketball.
How long do you think it'll take for them to get used to playing in the environment that is the Murphy Center?
Well, the good thing is, all of them played last year. All of them saw action as Southside made their run. So they should be adapted. It's going to be Manassas, who didn't make it last year. They haven't made it since 2009 when they were single A. and won a state title. So, the Manassas is going to have to kind of adapt to the bigger surroundings. And so I think that's actually an advantage for Southside.
Speaking of Manassas, they eliminated Lexington in the sectional round, and Lexington played them a good game. I think they won. Manassas beat them 58-53. So, and Southside, had their troubles beating Lexington more times than not. They played 3 times this year?
4.
4 times.
Beat them by 20. Beat them by, I think, 8. Beat them by 15, and then beat them by about 10.
Yeah, I remember the regular season game. Southside won by 10, 15 or so, but Lexington led all the first half. Southside just took the lead right there late in the second quarter, and after they had fits. So Lexington is probably a pretty good common opponent to judge these two. Do you feel like the Southside is good enough to take on this Manassas team?
And, I think they definitely are. This is a Manassas team with 9 seniors, so they're a very senior-laden team, led by Rayford Albright, and that's going to be the key player that Southside's going to have to key on. He scores probably 25 points a game. He's a slasher, gets to the basket. You're going to really have to try and defend him and keep him off his game, and I think if they can do that, they can beat Manassas. The fact that Lexington went to Manassas and came within 5, many thought that Lexington should have won that game late and some things didn't go their way. I think the fact that Southside's beaten Lexington 4 times, and is used to the environment, I think Southside should be the favorite to beat Manassas.
All right, well, you're heading out here in a little while to, I guess you're going to go over there early to watch some of the AAA tournament and single A tournament. Just kind of what are you looking forward to this week, whether it's Southside or anybody else?
I'm just looking forward to seeing some of the talent, Definitely some of the Memphis teams. You got Hamilton, you've got Arlington. They'll play 2 very good Murfreesboro teams in Blackman and Siegel. Single A should be some good ones. Like I said, that Mitchell Goodpasture game should be a really good matchup. The number 1 team in the state versus a team I figured was going to be number 1 in the state, win a gold ball.
Right.
And then Southside on Thursday night, some good AA games. I think it should be a very good tournament. Okay.
All right. Well, if you're not going to go to Murfreesboro, and you're not going to be in a position to watch or listen to it, but you do have access to Twitter, be sure to follow him at JSRiderMichael on Twitter, and he'll have constant updates from the games, scoring updates, let you know how the food tastes in the Murphy Center, whatever, kind of let you know what the atmosphere is like in there. Also, we'll have stories. You'll have a sidebar each day and different stuff up on the web, videos as well. So just to kind of keep you up to date on whatever's going on in Murfreesboro this later on this week, he'll be your ticket to that. If you are going over, stay safe going over there. There's a lot of miles between Jackson and Murfreesboro.
But unlike last week, there's not a lot of snow.
There is that. There is no snow. Hopefully. It is supposed to dip down. The temperature's supposed to go down anyway. Anyways, but thanks for watching. Thanks for reading the Jackson Sun, whether it's online or in print or on your phone or wherever you read it. Thank you for that. Thank you for trusting us as your number 1 source for local sports news in West Tennessee.